Welcome to my story of Operation Torchbearer. The operation took place at Fenton Falls at the ATV park, Burnt River, on the date of May 5th, 2018 at 1200 hours. Most of the initial day was spent patrolling various roads and trails. We had intel that an American invading force was patrolling this land with a vehicle convoy, and we were tasked with eliminating and gaining whatever intel we could. I was in a squad comprised of myself, a Canadian Forces sniper, along with two well-known Russians and two rookie Canadian rebels. We established a camp, and we were operating as guerrilla warfighters, deploying several ambushes throughout the day, and creating several roadblocks designed to stop and slow the vehicle patrol to create a prime opportunity to strike. The field was wet, the terrain was hard to move through, and there was very sparse amounts of cover given the time of year. We used natural deadfall to create roadblocks and obstructions on the road in hopes to slow the vehicle patrol. Our roadblocks were set. We heard the convoy coming. We took cover in the woods and awaited our ambush. My breath became shallow, and I stopped moving completely, awaiting command over the radio to take the shot as I counted every enemy soldier walking down that trail. At this point, it was very clear that we were extremely outnumbered and outgunned. But we had a mission to accomplish, and we weren't going to let that stop us. We had taken heavy casualties, and it was clear that we were losing this battle. My comrade is down and he is bleeding out. I want to get to him and help, but I'm not sure if I'm alone. Fortunately, I find out that I still have teammates with me, but I'm worried about that enemy flank. There's no more gunfire and it's too quiet, but I see enemy movement out there, and I know they're coming. As I feared, the enemies begin a flank. They're infiltrating the woods, clearing the tree line of any enemies they find, and also medicing their downed soldiers. The dense amount of cover makes my shot impossible. I know where he is, but I can't hit him. And if he spots me, my life is over. I radio in the enemy position, hoping that my squad leader can take him out. There's 2 of them and one is flanking on my left. At this point, the anxiety is overwhelming. I can't seem to land a shot, and he doesn't know where I am. And all I can do is hope he doesn't spot me, and monitor his movement and hope that one of my teammates might be able to help me out. He finally makes a break for it. He runs across the road to get to cover on the other side, and this is my moment to strike. But I still can't land a shot. I'm too deep into the woods and there's too much cover between him and I. However, this presents a prime time to medic my buddy and pick him up and get him back into the fight. This is our time to re-establish our defense and hold this point. It's very hard to see enemy movements with all this cover, but hopefully it's hard for them to spot us as well. We don't know what we're walking out into, but we know that there's a lot more of them than there is us. I received no radio transmission from my squad leader. I'm not sure who else is alive with me, other than my comrade that I picked up, but 2 of us against a whole battalion. I don't like those odds, so I contemplate what my next move will be. Despite being so close, the enemy can't find out where I'm shooting from due to my suppressed weaponry. The cover's thick, and shots are hard, but eventually my shot makes its mark. It's too quiet. I'm assuming all my teammates have been taken out. I don't want to stay here in these woods and let them find me. I don't know how many are looking for me, so it's time I make a decision. I desperately try to escape to safety, a place where I can catch my breath and come up with a new strike plan, because I know I'm all alone. In these moments, the woods almost seem peaceful. I feel like I've escaped, and there's nothing more hunting for me. The peaceful walk ends abruptly as I spot 2 enemy soldiers on my way back to our friendly CP. I'm still all alone out here, and I don't know how many enemies are lurking in those woods. I have a clear shot on one of the 2 soldiers, but I'm afraid if I take the one, the second one might turn around. So I decide to take a defensive position and see what they do. I decided to take the shot, but I miss, and it seemed to alert him in my general position, so he ran back into his tree line. Worried that they have a fix on my position, I sit and wait, but I contemplate whether I should move or not. I can hear them closing in on me, so I don't want to make any sudden movements and alert them of my exact position. The enemy has spotted me and he has me outgunned. My life is over. I get up, and to my surprise there was an enemy just on the other side of the cover I was using. So perhaps it was good I died from range.
Medic! I missed my shot on you and you knew it.
Turns out the enemies are more friendly than I think, as they try to engage their own team.
That's your teammate. Yeah, that's your teammate.
While I was in limbo, I got lost on the path to redemption. I awaited the fellow souls of my squad to help guide the way.
I didn't say anything about you guys, don't worry. I know what I'm doing.
After my life had been restored, we were setting up choke points when we heard an enemy convoy coming. We scurried into the bushes and set up a makeshift ambush, but it wasn't well prepared.
Hit!
This time, I wasn't a survivor. Fortunately, 3 of our squad mates had made it out alive, but we knew they weren't coming back for us. The enemy forces outnumbered us, and it was time me and my comrade bled out together. Once again, my life had been restored, and me and my comrade had begun our own 2-man patrol. We were walking down a trail when we spotted several enemies patrolling down the main roadway. It was their convoy. There were too many for a head-on attack, so we laid low, and I counted enemy movement and relayed numbers back to my teammate, letting him know how many I saw. We trailed them up the road, keeping our distance, monitoring their movements. We encountered lost green souls along the way, some of our comrades and teammates. We then realized the enemy had taken notice of our approach so we turned around and pretended we were lost souls as well. We continued down the roadway in hopes we could set up a two-man ambush.
We could bring you guys back.
While we were playing dead, we came across more dead soldiers, including our squad leader, the Russian Strangler. We continued our walk down the trail, trying to find the perfect spot to set up our ambush. Finally, we found what seemed like the perfect spot. We got in our positions, and we awaited for the enemies to come our way. Moments seemed like hours, until our senses detected something. My comrade was able to kill the rear gunner on the ATV, despite him holding on for dear life. I tried to take out the driver with my secondary, but there was no gas in the chamber. I quickly try to land a shot on the ATV driver before he can dismount and get to cover. But I can't judge the range properly. My shots are just near misses on him before he gets in front of the ATV and uses it as cover. My heart races and I'm panicking. I realize I failed that shot, and there's more enemies coming on my right. I know he's not alone, so I turn my attention. I pray that he doesn't know my exact location, and he keeps hiding behind that ATV. And I begin taking out the rest of his reinforcements. More and more enemies keep pouring down the road. They still don't know my location, and each shot I make is a kill. I frantically look over my left shoulder trying to keep an eye on that ATV driver. I don't think he knows where I am, so I focus on engaging the enemies in front of me. I forget that my pistol's malfunctioned and I'm down to just my rifle. I wait for the enemies to close in and get in a close range where I know I'm going to make the kill shot. I know I'm not making it out of here alive, but I'm going to take as many with me as I can. My attention becomes diverted back to the ATV driver as he makes a move. He begins shooting BBs my direction, but he still doesn't know exactly where I am. I'd really like to take him out so I can just focus on my right flank. I turn my attention back because I see an enemy holding a smoke grenade. He tosses it, and just before it obscures my entire vision, I take a shot and kill him. The enemy in the middle of the field that had fallen off the ATV just kept laughing because he knew my position and he was witnessing all his comrades die. They're beginning to get a fix on my position as several BBs fly in my direction. Finally, someone throws a grenade. It takes me out as it lands right between my feet.
Nice toss, whoever that was epic. That's good. That was whoever threw that.
The enemy team rejoices as they realize they took me out, and I watch them all pour out of the woods. I didn't have a hope in hell, but I did what I could. I confirmed with the ATV driver after, and he didn't know my position. He was just shooting the same general direction that everybody else was. After this operation, someone was looking for me on the enemy team and messaged my team leader, and then we had a direct message conversation, and that was one of his favorite moments of the event, as it was mine. Once darkness hit, being a marksman became a real challenge. We had a mission for the memes. We deployed one of our comrades in the middle of the road, on his knees without any weaponry, and he was to bargain with the enemy team to try and get BBs in exchange for medical supplies. However, he was armed with a grenade, and he was to give his life for his country and for our mission.
Please don't shoot. Don't shoot, please. Unarmed. Unarmed. Want to make deal. You want water? We have medical supplies. We need BBs. To be honest, we are very poor. We are tired of communism. We love America. We love big titties. Oh, it's very good. Maybe you can help. Ah, well, fuck, okay.
So in case you couldn't make that out, the enemy down the road was actually a teammate, so that whole spiel was for nothing. So this is take 2. And it turns out our fellow Canadian there actually became a suicide bomber himself and was much more successful. But I don't have any footage of that. And that is not my story.
Maybe make trades for water? Oh, shit. Please don't shoot, please. Just want to make deal, Trans-Pacific Partnership. We are low on BBs, but we have plenty of the water. You can come and search me if you want. I have no weapon. It is behind me, pointing at my asshole. It's behind me on the floor. Okay.
The rest of our squad was in an ambush position within the tree line, just off the road.
The light is off. Your light
We
is
waited to
still
see how many
bright.
enemies there were, but we could only see this one with the flashlight. I had a clear shot until he killed his light.
Yeah. Why? Because we didn't bring enough. We'll trade some water for some BBs.
Unfortunately, the camera doesn't record exactly what the enemy is saying, but I can't believe this deal even worked. I mean, who trades water for BBs?
What do you think is fair? All of it? I give you what I have on me. You want to search me?
In the midst of negotiating the amount of BBs we would trade for the water, the enemy doesn't realize that my friend doesn't actually have any water on him. They're just empty bottles.
Came from Russia. Very long walk. Very cold. Tired of communism. I love capitalism. I love big titties. Yeah. That is trick question. I will not answer. Very few. Not enough. You're dead. Oh!
Unfortunately, Comrade dies, but not before stabbing 2 enemies with his knife. Well done, soldier.